Tybee Island decided to take the lifeguards off the beach this afternoon because of the dangerous conditions. So people out here now that are kind of dipping their toes in the water, hopefully they don't go too far in because it is swim at your own risk at this point.
But in the city of Guyton proper, you need to be in your safe space right now. And street level from Tusculum to Guyton, Old Louisville Road, Newton Road, Keith Road, Grayson, Sunrise Drive. That's the Summer Place subdivision.
If you look behind me, we have a lot of trees snapped, torn down, laying down over graves in this historic cemetery. And some family members have come out to see if their gravestones are okay. Joining me now is Lucy Powell with Ferguson Cemetery, and you're asking for the public's help.
Yes, please. As you can see, we need heavy equipment and people with time.
Extreme heat warning for south of the Altamaha and a heat advisory for the rest of us. Look at those temperatures across the Coastal Empire and Lowcountry. We are still in the upper 90s and we feel like the triple digits. The hottest temperature so far today, definitely Beaufort.
As this storm approaches from the southeast. By 2 o'clock, we're talking 53-mile-per-hour wind gusts Hilton Head, 63-mile-per-hour wind gusts on Tybee, and still 50 to 60 Jessup and Hazelhurst. Look west of 95. You're still talking about tropical storm force wind gusts in Statesboro. Let's go ahead and just pause it here at 4 o'clock, just an hour's time frame.
That'll be about 1:20, and we think that the clouds will be participating in our solar eclipse fun for tomorrow. Some places may still have some cloud coverage. It's all dependent on that area of low pressure that's moving away from us. Mike, we're about a month away from the peak of hurricane season, so if you're not prepared now, you have time to do so. But let's talk tropics. Now, I'm going to bypass Tropical Storm Don in the central North Atlantic, and that is basically a fish storm, but still swirling out there. But we do want to talk about a chance of development in the southern Caribbean making its way toward the Lesser Antilles. It has a 60% chance of development in the next 7 days. And take a look at this. It's Invest 95L, an invested interest from the National Hurricane Center, and it has potential to make it across the Lesser Antilles into the Caribbean. We'll be watching it, but I know the hot topic today is the heat across the Coastal Empire and Lowcountry. We are under that heat advisory and the excessive heat warning south of the Altamaha. Take a look at the temperatures across the Coastal Empire and Lowcountry, upper 90s, and the feels like temperature the hottest in the Lowcountry, but we are getting a nice breeze off the Beaufort River. And by the way, we're here, they just closed Bay Street, Beaufort PD just did, and I can hear people screaming at the top of Bay getting ready for the bed races out here. In the meantime, let's take a look at the planner or the radar, because we are looking at dry conditions right now, watching the sea breeze trying to make its way across 95. But later in the evening, we have another potential to see some severe weather roll through the Coastal Empire and Lowcountry. We're under that severe thunderstorm watch, and we did have a couple of warnings last night with some wind gusts that were up to about 44 at Hunter. So the planner shows that those rain chances really start to increase 7, 8, 9, 10, and then they start to decrease through the overnight. But we are going to keep that rain chance waking up on your Saturday. Look at those temperatures, warm and muggy, and we could have some showers around, but we're not looking at any severe threat in the morning. If you're coming out to the Beaufort Water Festival parade, here is your planner. It will be warm. 10 o'clock, the parade steps off, and by noontime, we're in the 90s. So please hydrate, especially if you're along the parade route. Good thing about the bed races is that you have natural hydration from everybody trying to drench the bed racers out here with buckets of water and their squirt guns. Let's go ahead and take a look at those highs for tomorrow. We're talking about mid 90s versus upper 90s, mid to low 90s because of the cloud coverage and the potential for afternoon showers and storms. Hour by hour shows that as we head through the rest of the night, it's isolated in nature, but it could be widespread, so a line could be making its way through. As we head through that midnight hour, looks like we're going to be calming down. Can't rule out some showers overnight, even some for the morning. So you saw in that planner a 20% chance. So please make sure you check the radar wherever you're heading out and about tomorrow. And then we have that chance of showers and storms in the afternoon. Your complete first alert forecast shows that those temperatures finally go down. but rain chances increase. And as we head through next work week, not too hot, but a little muggy, and a more typical summer-like pattern with the sea breeze building in from the east and popping along 95 into the west with those afternoon storm chances. Live in Beaufort, and stay tuned for the next at least 20 minutes because people will be running like crazy down Bay Street. Jamie Ertle, WTOC.
That it's going to be cloudy and wet.
Ooh.
So if he doesn't see a shadow, that's good, right? But like it could be rainy and he could run back inside and they could say he sees his shadow. So there's a myriad of things to predict what a rodent is going to do. Here's what I think as far as the forecast for Beauregard Lee. Let's take a look at the shadow a groundhog. It's not whack-a-mole, or it's shadow a groundhog. We don't whack him. But I don't think he's going to see a shadow, and that means an early spring for Georgia. But Punxsutawney Phil forecasting a mix of sun and clouds. There's a potential he could see his shadow.
Well, Little Gem is sparkling again almost 7 years after Hurricane Matthew tarnished it. Large sections of McQueen's Trail in Chatham County along Highway 80 near Fort McAllister were washed away in 2016, and even more erosion occurred the next year from Hurricane Irma. Our Jamie Ertle joins us live on the rejuvenated trail on this first day of hurricane season.
Yeah, it's really been a long road to recovery along this trail, and we learned a lot from Hurricane Matthew about long-term recovery. Nothing like Hurricane Ian, what they're dealing with in Southwest Florida, but still, days of power restoration, months of debris cleanup, and just waiting on insurance claims. So this is the longest project to date from Hurricane Matthew. The trail system is built along the old railroad that ran from 1887 from Savannah to Tybee. Chatham County Engineering had to rebuild large sections of the trail that required lengthy permit wait times due to protected coastal marshes. Just the location and the machinery that were needed were hindrances too.
Pretty fast-moving water, not an easy point to access with large pieces of equipment, and conditions that may require, if you do assemble all that equipment, you may have to disassemble it for certain weather conditions that you cannot leave very expensive equipment out there for long periods of time.
And that was the Deputy Director for the Parks and Recreation Department for the county, who is now in charge after the County Engineering Department finished work here, and the 6-mile trail is now open. 2 miles of the trail had been open for about 2 months. And we're going to be talking more with her and future improvements to this little gem here out on Highway 80. Live in Chatham County, Jamie Ertle, WTOC.
It's tongues out and tails wagging on a sunny day at Dogtopia of Thunderbolt. Owner Kelly Wolfsheimer says as we head into summer vacation season and you're boarding your pet, she asks one simple thing.
You might be thinking, oh, I've got nothing to worry about. You may take a trip, be gone for a month. It's really important to have a good emergency contact on file, because if we were to close, and the rescues are the same way, they need to evacuate all the dogs.
If you cannot evacuate with your pet, Dogtopia will board in some storm situations, but make sure your pet is vaccinated beforehand.
And this is what gets most people, is they think their vaccines are up to date, and they're not really. You should have Bordetella, distemper, and rabies.
Stress may get the better of you and your pet in evacuation situations. So even though you may have the best fur baby, heightened stress could make them a little different when you travel with them. So why not call your vet for a prescription?
My suggestion would be to look for signs of anxiety. That's going to be excessive panting, drooling, pacing, just unusual behavior.
If not a prescription, then maybe CBD, but you don't want to accidentally overdose Fluffy or Fido.
Human CBD is not the same as what's in the animal treats. It can be really dangerous for a dog. Avoid giving them over the counter if you're not familiar. Usually a Benadryl is fine, but avoid giving them anything that you would take.
We've also got a helpful hotel travel guide with your pets on the Hurricane Center page.